don't know about you, but this is exciting. And I guess you have to actually sit in my office and see me praying and crying all at the same time, trying to figure out how we can create a better opportunity and create a place that I believe builds on the legacy that so many people fought, bled, and died for, to be just embraced as a part of the overall vision and inclusion of the city of Birmingham. So this is indeed a great day for me.
Hello, everyone. My name is Elijah Davis, and I'm with Urban Impact. So glad to have you today. I'm here really to talk about an exciting new program that we've really been able to take to the next level, and that is Birmingham's Kiva Hub. You may be asking, who is Urban Impact? Why are we doing these things? And I'm happy to tell you. Urban Impact is the community economic development agency that serves the civil rights and Fourth Avenue Business District and neighboring communities. And we are really on equity and urban planning, capital access for minority and Black entrepreneurs, business development, as well as sort of creating a unique sense of place. And we achieve that through programs. Urban Impact is now a 40-year organization, happy birthday to us, that over time has worked to preserve Birmingham's historic Black commercial district, has worked to create unique sense of place like Taste of Fourth Avenue Jazz Festival along with the Carver. It has also worked to ensure that African American business equity has stayed with being sort of the administrators of the commercial land bank program in the 80s and 90s. And today we're looking at how our programs really help to achieve our mission and that new generation. And so today we're going to talk about part of that new generation of programs, which is the Kiva Hub. So we're excited to present this to you. So a few things. If you think you're a business owner and you're thinking about capital options, today is for you. If you want to support entrepreneurs, today is for you. If you're a foundation, today is for you. If you're just a community member, today is for you. So today we'll cover what Kiva is, our role in Kiva's Urban Impact, and then a little bit about the capital access product and how we believe that this product will help really help folks access capital. So with that said, I could not do it without an amazing team. We've had an intern with us, Mr. William Jones, who will show up shortly here, as well as others. And so I'm very grateful to him and very grateful to my entire team at Urban Impact for this. So if you want to share this, please do share. Hit the share button, like button, say hello to us in the comments and in the chat, and let's get started. So we're grateful to now start the Kiva Hub. So Birmingham, Alabama has its own Kiva Hub. So we're excited to announce that today. And Kiva is all about enabling communities to expand capital access for folks who have just traditionally not had it. And this is perfectly in line with our model and perfectly in line with what we're doing around place and creative community capital. So today we'll briefly share about what the program is and how it can help borrowers, both not only in the city of Birmingham, but in Jefferson and Shelby County, where we're particularly based here. So we're so grateful to the Mike and Jillian Goodrich Foundation for helping us launch the Kiva Hub, and we're extremely glad for their investment in inclusive economic development. So what is Kiva? Kiva is a crowdfunding micro-lending platform. It's been around, it's legit 15 years. I know it's like, oh, I don't like crowdfunding. Think about Kickstarter, think about Indiegogo. That's what Kiva is, except it is for businesses and it is a crowdfunding platform. So what does that mean? Like, how do I know this is real? Well, there's this movement 15 years ago around microfinance, and how do we both democratize as well as loosen some of these strict underwriting rules that traditionally have governed small business finance. And so this idea of social underwriting that's focused on impact is the driving force behind Kiva and the driving force behind the mechanism of your neighbor and loans that change lives. So here are just the global impact. Internationally, you've got, in 770 different countries, over 1 billion lent and 3.5 million borrowers. And in the United States, thinking about over 6,500 borrowers and 40 million in capital that traditionally would not have gotten to folks. And so we'll talk about the problem and the solution that Kiva addresses and brings solution to, as well as the program and the process. So let's do a little role play. I'm a first-time business owner. I want to get some money so I can expand my business, or I may not look great on paper. There's a gap in the marketplace between, the institutions that give large loans and what we call microloans. And we'll talk a little bit about this latter. So a few things of definition. Traditional lenders usually prefer to make large loans with established credit, collateral, business financials. And you also have online lenders, payday lenders, which are also really not good with high interest rates. It's also expensive for them to offer smaller loans because they don't get the same type of return. But Kiva acts as sort of the first piece of the financial ladder. So if you look here, you'll see Kiva. Then you have community development financial institutions. You have SBA loans, banks, and private investors. When we really did our assessment of the district, we learned that microloans, 5 to 20,000 and even under 5,000 was what over 40% of our district needed. And we were not able to find sort of a solution for them extremely easily. And so we began to look at ways that we could fill that gap, not just here, but also using Fourth Avenue as a case study for Birmingham. And so when we think about programs that do this, just about 70% are women and minorities, and borrowers were credit invisible and low credit score. So we needed something that didn't have a credit score minimum, something that spoke specifically to our context. And so it provides this missing micro at an interest rate of 0%, right? So I can't tell you how important this is. Like, interest rates are governed by the federal funds rate. And, usually it's a whole bunch of more points tacked onto that due to risk. This is able to get folks that really needed startup capital for 0% with a shorter term, but with an opportunity to get going. This is so important because we understand the issues around assets and wealth. You've got to raise from family members, but here's what everyone forgets. If your family members are 70 times under other peer groups in wealth, or you are not 11 times under the other income, or you are, because of structurally racist, misogynistic, and sexist, the other types of reasons, and we deal with that legacy today, that capital is not as available, and this becomes a cycle of disinvestment. So this is extremely important to us, of thinking about that. So if we look at this chart, the average loan amount is like around 5,000 with Kiva, which is right on par with our assessment. But you look at other CDFIs that do fantastic work, thinking about Axion, Lift Fund, SBA, you can see where we needed to plug in that hole. And so here's another great opportunity to scale up the ladder of particularly investment and or loan capital. And I think this is extremely important for those who like traditional financing, because there are other ways of financing that Kiva is a creative way to get you either solve a solution long term or get you through the next pieces. And the other piece that really spoke to us is really this notion that Kiva has a circumspect approach to community-based financing, and it's not just solely, okay, I'm gonna come in here and look at a loan. I mean, that's cool, but we want to make sure that we have trustees, which are small orgs that can do business assistance. We started 2 years ago in April as a trustee, understanding the model, and that's what led us to scale up to a hub. Local philanthropists, as you see, the Goodrich Foundation, but anyone, your neighbor, can lend across the street to a business and get it going for as little as $25,000. So there's a way in which this is also a way to really involve the entire community, and people can meet folks. And so it's just for us a better way and a flatter way to do things. We began this process as a trustee, a local community organization supporting, in which we did 2 loans, and really began to just understand, is this something that could work for us? And part of being a trustee that is not just available to us, but anyone into the Birmingham market, is being able to endorse borrowers socially. So for folks, that is the underwriting. You say, hey, man, they may not have this, this, and this, but I trust them. They're a person of integrity, and they need this capital so they can provide social impact to our community. That's what trustees are able to do. And it helps to get folks, more capital. One of the things I wanted to really point out was this particular stat. And so we're going to put a link in the comments from the plug. But when we really thought about, well, how do we be intentional about the legacy of 4th Avenue, not just what has been in the past, but what is here in the present, was also moving in our future. Kiva really had a strong track record of Black-owned businesses getting capital, right? And in this track record, this graph comes from, again, the plug, TP Insights, and we'll put that link in the chat. We said we want to be a part of this growing movement, both in the West Coast and Northeast that can help to just do a little bit more to help access capital. So now let's move to the actual loan program. So here is the eligibility. And so first I want to stop and say, got any questions, comments, concerns, put them in the chat. We will definitely answer the question at the end of the presentation. You have to be 18. You have to be using the loan for a business purpose. You have to be based in the United States. You can't be engaged in multi-level marketing, illegal activities, or pure financial investing. Cannot currently be in foreclosure, bankruptcy, or any liens. But I will tell you, people who have been able to come out of that, even if it's a year ago, it has not been prohibitive. And so that's extremely important. You must be willing to demonstrate your social capital by having a number of your friends and family make a loan to you. And we'll talk more about eligibility. So if you're interested, particularly in a loan, you can submit the loan application, which is online, and we're also happy to help you. And then there's Kiva Review, which is usually 1 to 3 weeks. In this case, I am the capital access manager for this region, and so I will be, if you submit a completed application, I want to say that a completed application, then I and our team will reach out to you for assistance because we're able to see the portal, especially if you qualify. And then there's private fundraising. So the minimum amount is $25, which is extremely doable. And particularly on your profile, it's either 5 to 40 people, but usually it's in that there's lower private fundraising periods during COVID. And also then you have an additional 30 days to raise money. So this is about a month and a half process. Kiva wants to work quickly to get folks loans and trust the folk on the ground with sort of those checks. And of course, once you get onto the online platform, it is usually 95% chance being funding. And the borrowers that we work with, what we've seen is when they get past the private fundraising point or even get to there, it's pretty much very sure that they're able to fundraise. So I want to stay here for a second and say a lot of people's hesitance with Kiva and crowdfunding is, will I fully be funded? Is this a gamble? Do I want to put my time here? Well, the one thing about the process that we learned as a trustee is that there's a lot of emphasis on TA and understanding on the front end so that you can be successful on the public. And so by the time you get there, it is really a matter of making sure that we fundraise and cross the dots. And of course, repayments are made monthly via PayPal. They have a national partnership with PayPal, and it is just direct principal, no interest. So if you have a $10,000 loan, then the monthly payments will be $277. I'm gonna tell you, so Kiva is a really great product, but it may not be for you, right? And in COVID, we'll talk about some of the additions to the program in terms of repayment, in terms of the 3 and 6 month sort of intervals that folks can begin repayment. But I'll tell you, it's extremely important that we work with you and other sources to make sure it's the right fit, because paying just principal only over a shorter term still may be more expensive than getting a 9% loan over a longer term. And so we're not we're not going to push you in the Kiva loan if that is not the best opportunity for you and your business. We're extremely transparent around what this costs, so immediately how much it will be per month, and you can really compare and see what's best for your personal finance and your business. So one of the ways that Kiva is different from a crowdfunding standpoint is 0% interest, 0% fees, no application fees. And there's a constricted amount, like I said, 95% success rate, and we also allow for support, and you also get these really cool tools. So as soon as you submit a completed application, you get like a portal that says, hey, this is where we are. And as soon as you move past Kiva review, you get a whole toolkit of social, of copy and potential social media posts to help you. So it's really sort of a program in a box that really helps you to move forward. And then, when we think about sort of loan sizes, if you repay, you actually qualify for double. So there is still a measure of control. You're not just gonna maybe without any business evidence get 15,000, but you can qualify for some to help you graduate into something, and that's really that. So again, it's not particularly perfect, but in companion with another financing strategy, this is a really great way to get started, or if you're existing business, to really help you pivot when you may not be as attractive to other traditional, and I might even say restrictive forms of financial institutions. So I want to go back to eligibility. No illegal businesses, no pyramid marketing schemes, resellers, that type of stuff. Kiva really focuses on the business owner and entrepreneur who is local, who's doing sort of artisan work, who's doing direct service work, and really want to make sure that it's getting in the right places. So these eligibility criteria really help, narrow and target that social impact. It does not have a minimum credit score. Does not require financial statements and accepts multiple forms of business proof. If you do have a weak credit score, it's not going to prevent you from getting a loan, but it will reduce the overall amount that you might be eligible for if you have if you don't have anything else to balance it out. And so one of the things we also really appreciate about this underwriting process with Kiva is that, as you see this chart, is that there is more positives than negatives and more neutrals than negatives. And so even if you have these traditional negatives, these positives could really help you get more money than you would at a bank, financial institution, and or anything else. And so this is a really cool thing that we can continue to build on. And then, of course, business verification, documents, registration, permits, tax returns, IDs, EINs, and also for incorporated businesses, but not for sole proprietorships. And that's just mostly for just keeping the accounting straight. What I will say, the cool thing, endorsement by trustee, right? So, if you're struggling with most or any of those things, a trustee can say, hey, I vouch for this person. Now again, that does affect, may not the $15,000 range, but at the same token, I think that that's really important, that there's this additional social aspect. So one of the things that we see is, let's talk about the process, right? So the process is, you have the opportunity to share your story, place a photo, internal questions about financial health, et cetera, et cetera. Here before us, we have Ms. Karen Howe with Many Souls, who recently fundraised in March during Women's History Month. She makes really great, kid shoes. We're going to put her link in the description. You absolutely need to check out her business. But it's a really important and sort of easy process. So if you think about your storytelling on your business on Facebook or any other place is a good place. Also, buying equipment, upgrading space, hiring employee, working capital. I cannot begin to tell you, as someone who spent, the first piece of his career in financial services, how cool it is that normally you have a product just for equipment financing, just for upgrading space, which is really cool. I think some of those products are really flexible and cool in that way. But Kiva is really inclusive and expansive in terms of what it needs, in terms as long as you prove business uses. Here we have Ms. Miracle Reese, who is our second loan, and she is doing well, repaying, and does both Push Initiative and Task T Wellness brands. And we'll put that link in the chat too, and we'll come back and chat with all of these folks at a later date. So again, we go back through the process, and we have borrowers have 15 days to recruit, 5 to 40, and that 5 to 40 is determined on those profile factors we talked earlier. Each lender must loan to a borrower's campaign, and most important, to raise money from the people. So it's really important that you have sort of a strong network that's willing and ready to invest. And then you go into the public fundraising period, where there are millions of lenders and all sorts of matching type of things, and U.S. borrowers have a 95% chance of fully funding. And then once you're fully funded, within 7 days, you'll get your payment through PayPal, and repayment is fixed. So here's the cool thing. So one of the key pieces is that it's not actually a donation. If you choose to lend to an entrepreneur or a business owner, you actually get that money back at no interest, because it's a social impact, but you do get that money back. So as they pay back, you get paid back, which is really cool. So if it's $1, $2, $3, you'll see it coming back into that account, which allows you to reinvest it in other businesses or just get your money back. So this is a accountability tool, way to keep track. And for if any reason, if the borrower defaults, you will be notified, and you won't receive the rest of it, but you at least should be notified. But that default rate is very low. So let's talk about if you're right for a Kiva loan. Tech billing. You need to be able to navigate email, PayPal, and Kiva's online platform. So when we talk about this is not a perfect product that's going to fix everything around capital issues in Birmingham, it won't, right? Because, everyone is not tech willing and or tech able. Excuse me. But, we are here to help. And that is the role of Urban Impact as the manager of the Kiva Hub, is that we're here to help. But part of our help is shooting straight with you. And the good thing is being able to have access to all of the great partners, CDFIs that do great work in the city of Birmingham. And it's extremely important. And so if, we'll be straight up about the process. If you don't believe this is the right process, then we can certainly push you in a different or make a referral to a different institution, how we know best. But we don't want this to discourage you, but we want to be realistic around are you using social media right now? Do you use email at some level? It doesn't have to be a great level. You don't have to have thousands of followers. It's just are you able and willing to do it, but particularly willing to do it, then we can definitely work with you. So that's a really important piece. Significantly impacted by a small business loan. We're really looking for social impact, again, targeting micro businesses. I hate that term, but the technical term, but sole proprietorships, things of that nature, extremely important. Have a good picture and loan statement. If you have issues with the picture, we'll help coordinate that. Um, but also loan statement is extremely important, which we can help as well. And again, work with Kiva Plus trustee team, Kiva Hub team. That's us. We've had folks who have seen the product, gotten excited, and wanted to do it by themselves, and all of a sudden I see something as this, especially while we were a trustee and we didn't have as much control of the portal. And I wake up to an email that says they've submitted, and then they don't even get past the review stage. And then I'm like, hey, did you, follow the steps, and that's part of it. It's not this strict or sort of restrictive underwriting process, but there is a process, but it doesn't have to be long and drawn out. We just want to make sure that everyone is telling the story well, and you have the best opportunity. We also want to make sure that debt is right for you, because debt may not be right for you. As folks understand, like there might be other strategies. So we understand the risk of debt and take that seriously. And so we want to make sure that everything's right for you as much as we can see, and work with you on that. Have a strong network of supporters. I think this is the most important and critical piece. If you I would advise, if you have customers in the way that you market it, you don't want to cannibalize your customers. But if you have a strong network of supporters and you're willing to be public with this sort of opportunity and need, then this is a good network. Everyone is not trying to move this publicly or semi-publicly, and I feel that, and I realize that. We realize that, and so this may not be the best product for you, but if and this is why neighborhood businesses, social impact businesses, other businesses fit really extremely well. Folks that are already attuned to the public startup businesses work really well. But they're also willing to grow. I think that's the biggest thing. What I mean by grow, I'm not even necessarily saying revenues, which we always want to see. We all want to see increased profits, and then also the triple bottom line, that you're also doing well by doing good. But I think that we want to make sure that the things that have prohibited, potentially, from accessing other types of capital, that we address those things. This is not to say that the other types of capitals are particularly equity based, or that they are fair or even just at some standpoints. I want to be, specific about that. But at the same token, I think that we, as you grow, our hope is that you continue to make social impact by providing good service that the neighborhood, community, district needs, and also helping to employ other people, and just bringing light to the community. So we're invested in that, that piece with you. So with that, you can contact us at Birmingham at local.kiva.org, and we're extremely excited to bring this and upscale it. It's been an interesting 2 years, especially with COVID. We had planned to do this a little bit earlier last year, but we've been really focused on other points of capital access and SBA. But we're here now, and we really want to introduce this product to the market and really hear from you what are the best ways, the things we need to really understand. If you are interested in the product, if you want to know more about the product, please let us know, and you can contact us, follow us on our Facebook page, all that good stuff, and we continue to move forward. So at this time, I'll take any questions. I'll take any questions if you have them. Any questions? Any questions? All right, so in the chat, we put TP Insights, its work around Black entrepreneurs in the country. You can follow us at the Kiva Hub. And actually, I'll go ahead and pull it up so that you can see it. And then we will conclude. So this is the page where you can lend. You can learn more. I'm grateful to our partner, Operation Hope, who also will be doing financial, who's our financial sort of coaching, consulting folks. And so you can just learn more about Kiva, the program, and all of that good stuff. I'll stay on the line for any questions if there are some. I'm going to go ahead and put my email in the chat. And so that if you want to reach out, and I, again, am Elijah, serving as the capital access manager for this particular project. We're excited. So we want your feedback, tell people about it. If you're interested, we're going to be posting some stuff. So that's all we have. Let's continue to make Birmingham a more equitable and fair place, and let's continue to make impact. So with that, y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.